Iran did not attack Camp Buering by accident. The selection of targets, helicopter flight line, fuel depot, operations center, was deliberate. The sequencing of 5 ballistic missiles, followed by 3 low-altitude Shahed drones from a different direction, was deliberate. The timing, the geometry, the exploitation of a specific architectural limitation in the Patriot system, all deliberate. This was not a terror strike designed to cause panic. It was a military operation designed to achieve specific effects against specific categories of American combat power in Kuwait. And it nearly worked exactly as planned. Understanding why it worked as far as it did, and why the American response dismantled Iran's mobile launch doctrine in the 20 minutes that followed, and explains more about the future of Middle Eastern warfare than any diplomatic statement made in the weeks since. Iran's attack doctrine has been evolving since 2019, when the Abqaiq oil facility strikes in Saudi Arabia demonstrated that a coordinated, multi-vector drone and missile attack could overwhelm point defense systems not by defeating them, but by saturating them and approaching from directions they were not configured to cover. The Camp Buering attack is a direct refinement of that doctrine. The Patriot AN/MPQ-65 radar, the most capable single-antenna air defense radar in the American inventory, scans a 90-degree sector. Within that sector, it performs functions that no other system in the world can match from a single antenna: search, track, and guidance simultaneously. Iran's planners understood this. They sent 5 Fateh 313 ballistic missiles from the southeast, the expected threat axis, to occupy that sector completely. While the battery's processing power was maxed and its radar face locked southeast, 3 Shahed 136 drones cruised in from the south at 100 feet of altitude for the previous 40 minutes. The attack was not designed to defeat the Patriot. It was designed to use the Patriot against itself, to force the system to do exactly what it was built to do in exactly the direction that served Iran's drones. The strategic targeting logic behind the strike compounds its sophistication. The helicopter flight line had been servicing Apaches and Blackhawks for 8 straight days of combat operations into Iran. Destroying it reduced coalition rotary wing capacity in the Kuwait theater. The fuel depot, once struck, created a fire that would burn for hours, denying ramp space, endangering remaining aircraft, and consuming firefighting resources. The operations center strike severed command coordination at the base level. These are not random targets. They are the 3 categories of enablement: aircraft, fuel, command, whose simultaneous destruction would most effectively degrade Camp Buering's ability to contribute to ongoing combat operations in the hours and days following the strike. The IRGC planners who designed this operation understood the American base's operational role and targeted accordingly. Quick note: you're watching Iron Brief. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. The American response reveals as much about U.S. strike doctrine as the Iranian attack reveals about Iranian strike doctrine. 4 F-15E Strike Eagles launched within 10 minutes of the Camp Buering strikes, a response time that indicates pre-planned contingency targeting rather than reactive improvisation. The aircraft were already loaded, the crews already briefed, the target sets already identified. What was not pre-planned was the precise location of the mobile Fateh launchers, which had been relocating for 12 minutes before Rage Flight got airborne. This is the central tension in mobile target prosecution. Time destroys coordinate validity at the same rate that mobile launchers create distance. The MQ-9 ISR track, 3 minutes of launcher movement before terrain loss, provided a search corridor, but not a position. Rage Flight Sniper Pod and the APG-82A ESA radar in passive triangulation mode were the tools designed to close that gap. The TOR-M1 engagement is the most instructive tactical episode of the entire operation, not because of its hardware outcome, but because of the decision-making it forced on the Iranian commander. The TORM-1 is architecturally significant because it is the one mobile air defense system in the Iranian inventory that cannot be defeated by attacking its support infrastructure. Its search radar, tracking radar, and 8 missiles are all on one chassis. The only way to kill it without a dedicated anti-radiation missile is to know where it is, which requires it to emit, or to put a bomb on it by GPS, which requires knowing where it is. The TOR commander faced a genuine dilemma with no good options. Staying dark preserved his own system, but offered the Fateh launchers no protection. Going active provided air defense coverage, but handed the WISO the emission time he needed to triangulate. The American pilot resolved the dilemma by creating a third condition, the deliberate descent toward the launcher search area that forced the TOR commander to choose between watching the Fatehs get prosecuted from altitude or revealing his position to save them. He chose to fight. He went active. 6 seconds of continuous fire control emission gave the APG-82 everything it needed. 1 GBU, 39 SDB, followed. The TORM-1 was gone. The subsequent destruction of both Fateh launchers and the IRGC naval compound follows a pattern that is now identifiable across the Iran air war. American strike packages enter Iranian contested airspace, use passive and active sensor fusion to locate mobile targets, and employ precision glide weapons, primarily the GBU-39 small diameter bomb and GBU-31 JDAM, to destroy them without exposing crews to unnecessary SAM engagement. The GBU-39 is worth noting specifically as a strategic tool rather than merely a tactical one. At $40,000 per unit, with 60 nautical miles of unpowered glide range, it allows the releasing aircraft to stay outside the engagement envelope of most Iranian short-range SAM systems while achieving precision effect on target. 8 per aircraft, across 4 Strike Eagles, amounts to 32 potential precision strikes from a single sortie. The economics are inverse to the cost exchanges Iran exploited against the Patriot. The GBU-39 costs less than an Iranian SAM it can outrange. Iran's mobile launch doctrine assumed that moving launchers could survive the window between launch and American response. The Rage flight engagement collapsed that window to 20 minutes. But this story is not exceptional. It is the rule of how the Camp Buering attack and its aftermath will reshape Iranian military planning in ways that are not yet visible in public statements. Iran built its mobile launch doctrine around 2 assumptions. First, the post-launch relocation window is sufficient to reach protected positions before American strike aircraft can locate and engage. Second, TORM-1 escort provides credible point defense for launchers during relocation. Both assumptions failed on the same night. The relocation window was insufficient against pre-positioned strike aircraft with MQ-9 ISR queuing and sniper pod resolution capability. TORM-1 escort became the target that revealed the launcher's location rather than the shield that protected it. Iranian military planners now face a doctrine that has been empirically defeated under real combat conditions. Whatever replaces it will be observed, analyzed, and countered in turn. The deeper question, the one that Iran's leadership is being forced to answer in the weeks following the Buering strike, is whether a mobile launch doctrine can survive in an environment where American ISR coverage, pre-positioned strike packages, and precision glide weapons can collapse the relocation window below the threshold that makes mobility useful as a survivability tactic. The Camp Buering attack demonstrated that Iran can still design tactically sophisticated strikes against American bases using layered, multi-vector approaches. The Rage flight response demonstrated that the cost of those strikes in launchers, air defense systems, and command infrastructure now arrives within the same operational period as the strike itself. If you want to understand how the Patriot's architectural limitation can be addressed before Iran designs the next version of this attack, check out our analysis of multi-sensor air defense integration. And if you want to see the full strategic picture of Operation Epic Fury and where Iranian military doctrine goes from here, our geopolitical breakdown will give you the complete analysis. Subscribe to Iron Brief so you never miss what comes next.